It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Hello and welcome to our final episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast made by film fans for film fans. This is our last episode, or kind of little specialty episode of 2025, where we're going to run down kind of little odds and ends from the year of 2025 in film and looking at our favorites, our least favorites, biggest surprises, biggest disappointments, maybe some favorite performances or favorite maybe movie memories, at least from this past year. But there are some other odds and ends that we'll likely touch on. We kind of me and Corey try to do this separate, so we'll touch on different kind of awards that we'd maybe dish out and thoughts that we had from 2025 as a whole for the world of cinema. But Corey, how have you been, my co-host, as always?
The season 2 finale of Slate Night.
Season 2, even though there's like 60 episodes.
It's a year.
Yeah.
A year is a season, whatever. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody. I'm drinking some an old-fashioned at noon, watching college football, talking about movies. Great way to end the year. In a few hours, we'll be going to a New Year's Eve party. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm not drinking right now, in preparation for later, when I should definitely be hydrated before I have a hangover on New Year's Day.
I am preparing for later, so I'm
You're wet the whistle.
Yeah. If you're not wasted, the day is.
All right.
But also in a few hours, we'll get the New Year or the Stranger Things finale.
Are you gonna try and watch that before you go to the party?
It comes out at 7,
yeah,
and the party starts at 7, so probably not.
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, hopefully, the couple things I'm hoping for is seeing Hopper just fucking dome Collie or 8, just dome her shit smooth off, and also hoping we get a scene where, the classic Stranger Things scene where everybody is like, the vines they got them all, they're all struggling, and then dipshit Derek just fucking solos Vecna. And that's how the show ends. I kind of want
I would be fine with that. As he's been one of the characters in this season that hasn't pissed me off or annoyed me. Yeah. Also, I need Eleven to die. Elle needs to fucking go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She should not make it out of this. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But anyways,
we'll have a normal episode. I think, this Sunday, January 4th, we'll put out, or around
that's
that
like the
time.
only big thing coming out this week, so that'll probably be the bulk of our talk.
Yeah.
But anyways, other stuff from this year. We're just going to jump around, just kind of do... I did some random awards this year. We did, like Mason said, a lot of just random stuff. So, before we get into the movies, I just wanted to quickly shout out TV. We don't talk about that as much on here. But, get quiet.
There's actually some really good TV from this year.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just wanted to mention my favorite season of TV from this year was Severance Season 2. I love the show. I think the first and second season are great. I love the idea of it. I think it's some of the most original TV that we've gotten in the recent years. So just wanted to shout that out. I don't know if you have any TV that you wanted to shout out from this year.
I don't watch much TV, but from what I have seen, I would have to agree with you with Severance Season 2, because I don't love the first season of Severance, but Season 2 was a massive uptick for me, and now I am a fan of that show. I think the show set out to do a specific thing in the final moments of that last episode to get you feeling a certain way and piss off fans, I think, a little bit. I think that was the intended, because I left kind of pissed off with how I was like, no! So, which is kind of the intended purpose of the way that show wraps up in the final moments. So I am still really excited for Season 3. Just give it to me. I want it so bad. So I would say Severance Season 2 as well was gangbusters.
We've had a lot of other good stuff. Andor Season 2 was great.
Especially the last, what was it, the third or fourth chunk of episodes?
Yeah, kind of the last half for me was the really strong part, but Pluribus was cool too. So a lot of good TV, and looking forward to the next year of TV. But getting into the movies now, I just wanted to give out, this is something that a lot of people have talked about, but I wanted to put out a category or a trend in movies this year that we saw. And that is actors playing dual roles in movies.
Yeah, that started early this year.
That started early, and the nominees are Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, Robert Pattinson in Mickey 17, Theo James in The Monkey, David Corenswet in Superman, Robert De Niro in Alto Nights.
I was waiting for that one.
Elle Fanning in Predator Badlands, and Dylan O'Brien in Twinless. I'm sure there's a lot more, but weird that it happens so much this year.
So often.
It's always a thing that has happened, but this year it was just a lot of them. Yeah. So just an interesting trend from Hollywood this year. Why hire another actor when you can have the same one, do it twice, and pay him the same, maybe? I don't know.
Who do you think was the best of those selections?
Probably Michael B. Jordan. Smoke and Stack are fucking cool. We'll talk about Sinners a lot.
I think that one so definitively identifies two distinct characters, whereas some of the other, Elle Fanning, I'm like, okay, it just felt like an added subsidiary thing in that movie, whereas Smoke and Stack in Sinners, that is what you go to that movie for. Dylan O'Brien in Twinless is fantastic. You don't get a whole lot of his twin that would lead to them being sharing scenes and stuff. But he's fantastic in that movie, so I definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah. So a couple other just interesting awards that I wanted to shout out this year that I just kind of made up at the last second. The first one is an inaugural award that goes to a movie that comes out in the fall that you think is going to be a big Oscar contender that you see in maybe September or October. It happens every year, right? We're kind of getting the list together of like, oh, what's going to be good, what directors are attached. So the inaugural After the Hunt award goes to After the Hunt. And
I'm happy I skipped it.
It's, seeing the director, Luca Guadagnino, the cast, Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, Io Debris, kind of a heavier subject material. Feels like it hit all of the awards season checklist things.
Yeah.
And I don't even hate the movie. I think it's very fine, but just fell off a cliff as far as award stuff. And this happens, like I said, all the time. The other examples I remember are Birth of a Nation from like 2016.
That fucking
when people were like, ooh, this is going to be good.
But it came out in like early part of the year, like March or something like that, and it was like, yeah, it did not stick around.
No, yeah. Like the Goldfinch, I remember from a few years back, people were talking about. So hopefully I'll bring back the After the Hunt award and give it to another movie next year that we think will be good, but is not. Another award that I had is actually we had a tie in this category. That's pretty cool. This is the hey, this is pretty good. You should check it out award.
The tie for the things that you voted on and decided on by yourself.
What? No, this is by the committee. The board voted on this. I don't know what you're talking about. So this is the hey, this is pretty good. You should check it out award. The first one goes to Roofman. A really good movie. I really like it. Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, based on a true story. Channing Tatum's this criminal that hides out in Toys R Us, and it was really fun. I like the movie. It's heartfelt. It's got some good humor in there. It's got good performances, and pretty touching by the end of the movie. So if you haven't seen that, Derek Cianfrance directed that movie, and it kind of elevates it a bit too. So really like that one. The other one that it tied with was Caught Stealing from this year.
Oh,
very good.
Awesome.
Throwback 90s kind of thriller. You have just a kind of bopping around to a bunch of different characters in the cast. Austin Butler's kind of the anchor for that movie. So if you haven't seen that one, it's pretty good. Yeah. The last couple things I wanted to mention here. One is the award for I saw that this year. And that one goes to Eden, which is interesting because it's a Ron Howard movie that seems like it just flew under the radar completely. But I was there because Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, and Sydney Sweeney were in the movie. Yeah. So I had to show up. And it was actually pretty good. It's just I forgot that I saw the movie.
For mine, you brought that up that you were going to do that award before we started recording, and I immediately thought of a movie for it, and mine would be The Damned, which came out January 3rd of 2025. It was the first movie I saw in 2025. I think I was maybe the only person in Minnesota that saw that movie because I was in an empty theater. And it was actually like a pretty good movie. After going through all the movies I've watched from 2025, it was towards the bottom of the list, but it wasn't that it was necessarily bad. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but like it's pretty decent. And it was a great jumping off point, I think, for 2025 because I started off with like, oh wow, hey, like in January, I got a pretty good movie to go with. Sick. So I'm also pretty excited for where we're going in January 2026. We Bury the Dead might be the first movie I see in theaters, or The Plague. So I think we have good jumping off points both years. So The Damned, I don't think anyone saw this movie. I'd recommend it. It's a pretty good little horror thriller.
My next award is MVP of the year. Now, it may be the easy choice here, and I do want to give props, would be Pedro Pascal. And I know you have issues with him or whatever, but
I like him too much.
To list the things that I at least remembered he was in this year was Freaky Tales, The Last of Us Season 2, Materialists, Eddington, and The Fantastic Four First Steps, all in a relatively short amount of time that he did all those things. And I think that he's great in all the... I haven't seen Freaky Tales, but in everything else I thought he was really good. I like him. But my personal MVP of the year goes to Julia Garner. I love Julia Garner.
Oh, yeah.
I loved her in Ozark as Ruth. I think she was great in that show. But speaking of Fantastic Four, she's really good as Shalabal and as the...
Why are you going to say it like that?
Shalabal, the Silver Surfer. I think she actually adds a lot to that movie. And that character gets more depth than I expected in there, so I thought she was really good. Wolfman, which, again, kind of like The Damned, was a very early movie from the year that I think we both liked. It's pretty good. I think kind of forgotten from this year. And then, obviously, in Weapons, she's great as the alcoholic teacher that is just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with these kids. So she didn't have as many things as Pedro Pascal or maybe some other actors, but I think in each role that she had. She delivered something different in each role and brought a lot to those roles. So that is my MVP for the year.
Yep.
right.
I didn't think really about any specific one person until you brought that up, but I would probably throw Josh Brolin into the mix, both for weapons and also in The Running Man. I feel like he kept popping up in a lot of stuff this year.
Wake Up Dead Man.
And Wake Up Dead Man. I really liked him. So I think he had a pretty good year as well. I also thought maybe Ryan Coogler. I think just what he did with Sinners and making that movie and it having the legs that it's had to travel all throughout the calendar year of 2025 and still be relevant now come awards season is pretty gangbusters. So I would probably say Josh Brolin, Ryan Coogler, even Guillermo del Toro with Frankenstein. I feel like he was everywhere for like a good 3 to 4 months while that movie was getting kind of pushed out in the limited release and also on Netflix. So I don't disagree with either of your picks though because they were both amazing this past year.
Yeah. All right. Moving into, I wanted to shout out some of the most disappointing movies from this year.
Okay.
These are movies that we were, at least that I was looking forward to, or at least had hoped for in a specific area of the movie, and just didn't quite deliver. The first one is Him, which is the not Jordan Peele directed movie. It's directed by Justin Tipping, and I mean, it had all the elements of a Jordan Peele produced movie of that same kind of flair, that same kind of flavor, and then combining it with football, which we both love.
Yeah.
Cool horror movie, and a fun performance from Marlon Wayans. But it was just all style over substance. There was no depth. The themes were very shallow. It didn't really commit to any football thing, didn't commit to the horror thing. It was just a weird mess of a movie that didn't really work.
Didn't like it. I'm surprised that you put it on your disappointments. I didn't have any expectations for that movie to be good. The Jordan Peele-isms, I was like, okay, well, I've seen this before. They put your name all over, like, the Antebellum stuff, or like, oh, from the producers or creators of Get Out. It's like, okay, well, like, fucking slow down right now. So, and we'll talk about Him again on a different list.
Oh, well, there you go.
But, yeah, I understand you saying it is a disappointment because that movie's ass, so...
The other disappointments of the year, one was Mickey 17. I was really looking forward to this movie.
Also on my list.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho. This was the first of his movies I got to see in the theaters, which I was excited about. And again, with the dual performance, I think Robert Pattinson actually does have a good distinction between the two.
Yeah.
Whether it's just the tone of his voice, whatever.
Sounds like my brother Austin.
But it was a movie that I think had a really cool idea, cool concept, some good performances for sure, but it was just messy. It was trying to do too many things, too many messages it was trying to throw at you. Mark Ruffalo sort of doing a Trump impression in there.
Bit heavy-handed with some of the messaging it's trying to get across. I'm like, okay, be a little, like, come on, you did Parasite. Be subtle. Like, settle down a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a terrible movie. All these disappointments aren't, like, bad movies necessarily. It's just like, I wanted a bit more from this one. Another one was The Running Man. I was excited because it felt like Edgar Wright tackling this source material. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that it was going to be a great movie. I didn't go in thinking like, wow, this is going to be sweet. But I just wanted a fun movie. And it was weird because it just was boring to me. It just didn't have the Edgar Wright energy. It feels like the least Edgar Wright of all of his movies, which was disappointing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of where this, why it fits into this category here. Because
also on my list.
Yeah, it just was like, I don't know, and Glenn Powell was like trying to act like a tough guy, the angriest man in the world, and I just didn't really feel that. And I was like, I don't know. So that was another disappointing one. My last one... Oh, do you have another?
I was just going to say, I had expectations for that movie to be at least great because I don't think Edgar Wright's ever missed.
No.
I think, honestly, arguably, you could say Last Night in Soho is maybe his weakest film, and I still love that movie. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, this movie's going to be good to great. And it was so lackluster. I was like, what the fuck happened?
It's just weird that it was not at least good.
It was nothing.
Yeah. The last one that I have on my disappointed movies, which Mason is going to talk about towards the end of this video, is The Life of Chuck.
That's upsetting. I forgot you were going to say that.
You saw this movie before I did. And
I think did I tell you what I thought about it before you went and saw it?
I mean, yeah, we talked about it on here, and I don't really let that influence me all that much, but just hearing how much you loved it, I was like, I'm excited. And that's not even your fault. Like, I want you to like talk about a movie you love if you love it. That's great. But just between your kind of review of it and then it won the top prize at TIFF, and that's typically an indicator of like going on for Oscar season and being a big contender, which it doesn't seem like it's going to be this year.
Speaking of movies that fallen off, that one fell off pretty quick.
That could also get the After the Hunt award.
Yeah. Life of Chuck gets the After the Hunt award.
Yeah, that can be a tie between those two movies. this movie for me, I don't hate this movie. Again, like it's disappointing, but it's not bad. It's just that I was really excited to see Mike Flanagan tackle something that wasn't a horror movie. And for me, this movie was telling me how I should feel and saying this is very sad and these characters are very emotional and you should feel how emotional they are. And I didn't feel any of it. I felt like I was being talked to and not invited into the movie. So it just, none of the kind of three distinct acts in this movie worked for me. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's hard to like hate this movie because it is covering like themes that are kind of hopeful or to make you feel good. It just felt like a bit of a Lifetime movie to me. I'm sorry.
Mean,
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We will talk about this. This is one of my favorite movies of the year, and I'll leave it at that for now. I remember us talking about it and that you hinted that this might be on your biggest disappointments, and I forgot that we're to that point of the episode already. But a little background information. So one of my biggest disappointments I've ever had in a movie was Tar from 2022. So I made it a mission to rewatch that movie this morning. Just because the first time I watched it, which was with Corey, it was the first movie I watched in 2023 because we watched it on like New Year's Day or right around New Year's. And I had that movie on Blu-ray. I took it out of the DVD player, PS3, put it into the Blu-ray case, and then I Gronkowski spiked it. I'm sure I've told that story before on this.
Shards of Blu-ray case everywhere.
We were looking for, like, every time we'd clean the apartment, we were still finding Blu-ray shards for like 2 months after that point, even until when we moved out. So I did rewatch that movie this morning, actually, because I don't love, like, not liking things. And I knew with how aggressively I hated that movie, I was going to have to, like, all right, let's try and see if there is something here. And I love that movie now. I watched it this morning. I was kind of blown away. There are things that I picked up on that I didn't notice the first time, and I really do appreciate that movie, and I've since now ordered it on 4K that I will not Gronkowski spike because I do like this movie. I'm saying that all just because I want you to watch The Life of Chuck at least one more time sometime soon. Maybe actually, if you want to let it cool a little bit, I wouldn't blame you for that. But I think you might like it more on a rewatch, and that's just me kind of hoping just because of how much I loved it. Yeah. My other disappointments for 2025, you already mentioned The Running Man. Mickey 17 you mentioned. I'm going to throw The Materialists on there. Celine Song, I was expecting more. It just kind of felt lackluster and aimless, especially towards the end. 2 Osgood Perkins showings on this list. The Monkey and The Keeper. We'll talk more about those 2 films also later. But speak about having amazing marketing campaigns and somewhat good concepts for a horror movie and then just doing little to nothing with it for me. Trying to rewatch The Monkey earlier this year was fucking pulling teeth out. That was so bad. I hated it. Not funny at all. Couldn't stand it. Presence from Steven Soderbergh. I was so hyped for that movie. And it still is technically, I think, a really directed, well-shot film. But once you kind of get clued into what's going on, I didn't care about a lot of the characters. Once you get the flip, which is somewhat predictable, I was like, fucking what are we doing? And every marketing thing was the best, scariest, which every horror movie gets that kind of low. It's the best horror movie ever, scariest thing since The Exorcist. It's not scary at all. It's more of just like a family drama thriller. Like, it's not much, but it is still competently well helmed. I just wanted more from it. Also going to throw Until Dawn. I played the video game. Didn't have the highest of expectations, and also with David F. Sandberg coming in to direct it, I was like, okay, Pony Smasher, let's go. Fucking make me a good movie. And it was kind of just formulaic and kind of bland. So, didn't get a lot out of it. And then another movie, again, we'll talk about this in a little bit. Highest to Lowest. Spike Lee, directing a movie. Denzel Washington, adapting High and Low, which I hadn't seen until getting closer to the release of Highest to Lowest. Whoa! Woof! Buddy, what are you doing? Come on, you can direct. Come on, you can direct. Come on, you can direct. It's okay, you can direct. Spike Lee, what are you doing? Dude, this is incompetent, to say the least. This movie was so bad. So many missteps. We'll talk about, again, like I said, a little bit later, Highest to Lowest. But yeah, my biggest disappointments were kind of some heavy hitters. Mickey 17, I think, was on my top 10 most anticipated. I had some pretty... And also Presence was, too. I think it was in my, maybe 3rd or 4th slot. I was really excited for that movie going into 2025, and then just nothing.
Yeah. On the flip side, I want to dive into some of the most surprising movies from this year. Movies that I had no expectations for or actively thought were not going to be good, and then were actually really good.
We're going to agree on one of these. I know it.
Yeah, I feel like we have maybe a couple of these that we could. The first one is The Naked Gun.
I didn't even put that on!
Love this movie. I think I remember seeing the trailers, and I love the original Naked Gun. I watched through the second and third ones before this movie came out. Really enjoy them. The trailers for me, I was like, I don't know if they're capturing it really. Like they have the OJ joke there, but like I don't know if there's much else beyond that. This movie was such a delight. You and I saw it together.
So good.
So consistently funny. My favorite comedy of the year. Liam Neeson was perfect in the lead role. The supporting cast fills it out. They get that same humor of the original Naked Gun, so I loved it so much. The other big one, which we also saw together, was Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yep, that's the one.
This I think, maybe is everybody's most surprising movie of the year.
It's good?
It's like, fuck, is it the best one of the franchise? We both think so.
I think so.
Yeah, this movie is really good. It takes everything that you love about Final Destination, the kind of Rube Goldberg deaths, and the interesting concept of death chasing after you after avoiding it, and it ties it in with some good kind of generational impact from family members. Ties all that together into a really fun, really engaging movie. Some of the funniest moments in the movie. A Christmas gift that I was going to get you and completely forgot about was a mug that somebody has in this movie that says, "Show me your kitties." And I remember watching the movie, I'm like, I gotta get that for Christmas. Maybe for your birthday I'll get that for you. But just a great mix of everything that I look for in a movie.
It's like the emo brother cousin that has that mug.
It's
right?
like the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
He goes in there. Yeah, so it's just a phenomenal movie.
Awesome.
I loved watching through the franchise and then watching that. It was a great time. The last couple that I have on here, I actually watched in the same week. The first one was Drop. And I think why this was surprising for me was because I saw the trailer so many fucking times. And I was so sick of it, and I didn't see it in theaters. I think you did see it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters, and it was I liked it a decent amount, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember you reviewing it, and then it popped up on Peacock, and I'm like, I'll check it out. And I really enjoyed it. Like, Brandon Sklenar and Megan Fahey, I thought they had more depth to their characters than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun just in this high-up restaurant, kind of like Final Destination Bloodlines in that opening scene. But just this kind of whodunit of going around this restaurant, figuring out who was sending you these airdrops. I just really liked it. It was a cool, old school kind of throwback thriller, and I had a good time with that one. The other one that this honestly is the most surprising of the year was The Woman in the Yard. I absolutely love this movie. Again, I saw the trailers and I was like, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about it. Again, it was on Peacock the same week, and I watched it, and I just thought that it had such... It tackled familiar territory of grief within a horror movie. We've seen that a lot. That's a common theme, but I think Danielle Deadwyler absolutely kills it in this movie, and with her relationship with her husband and her kids in the movie and how grief ties into all of that, and the manifestation of grief in the movie. And then I think the ending is fucking awesome in this movie. The ending is so good and so much better than this movie I think was marketed as.
Yeah.
Like, everything about this movie, I just kept watching. I'm like, why was this not talked about more? Like, this is really good. So, if you're looking for a good horror movie to watch, or any of those movies, and you were kind of thrown off by the marketing maybe, check those ones out, because I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, you're completely right with Woman in the Yard. That movie also, like, I feel like the critic reception, audience reception around that when it was coming out was just kind of lukewarm. No one was really talking much about it, and just saying it was kind of fine. And Wame Collette Serra directing it, which I feel like on this podcast have kind of sung his praises a little bit. He kind of consistently makes good genre films, like Nonstop, Black Adam's not that bad. I really did dig that movie, and I didn't go back to it to watch it until you saw it and mentioned how surprising it was to you. So I agree with that being on your list for biggest surprises of the year. You already mentioned Final Destination Bloodlines. That was one of the biggest ones for me. Watching that in theaters with you was one of my favorite memories of 2025 movie going, just because of I could feel that you and I were on the same page with it, and we were like, oh my, we're just elated of like, we like it. Like, holy shit, it's good.
Yeah.
And then it ends, and one of my favorite things about Corey is he has the best reaction face whenever a movie's good and the credits start rolling. You'll just, and like, as soon as I see them, I'm like, fuck yes, dude, like, let's go. So seeing that was really good, and it's on my list as well for biggest surprises. Splitsville. I'm gonna list a couple because they kind of fall into the same territory. Splitsville, The Ballad of Wallace Island, The Baltimoreans, and Twinless. Those four movies, I didn't have really any expectations. I maybe heard rumblings of them being good, but it was just like, sure, why not? I'll go see this movie. Sure, why not? I'll watch this movie at home. Sure, why not? And they consistently surprised me. Splitsville, I think, is one of the best directed comedies I've seen, and I liken it to Crazy Stupid Love and how it kind of dissects relationships and how you balance that with your life. Ballad of Wallace Island, still consistently, there is a scene in that movie that makes me absolutely lose it. I think that that's a very touching movie, and Tim Key is fantastic in that movie. Makes me want to watch. He's in The Paper, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes me want to watch The Paper for him alone. Baltimoreans, I watched that right around Christmas, and it was like maybe one of the few Christmas movies that kind of came out this year, even though it came out in September, and it was so pleasant. And the chemistry between the two leads in it, fantastic. Definitely would recommend that. Twinless, one of the best directed things I saw this year. It was so good. A great relationship between these two men just trying to figure out their lives and see how they can kind of solve things for each other. Also, Dylan O'Brien gives, I think, one of his best performances I've ever seen. The other one, the last biggest surprise I have, which we'll talk about again later, is It Was Just an Accident. Seeing that it's a 2-hour movie in a different language, story I didn't even look up the story. I just saw the trailer at the main cinema and I was like, oh, what is this? And then hearing the accolades kind of pouring on, I was like, okay, well, I'm probably going to need to see this as I prep for the Oscars and get all those movies watched and checked off. It Was Just an Accident is incredible. Like, it blew me away. So that was maybe the biggest, like, holy shit moment of the surprises, but we had a pretty good list of movies that kind of just came out of nowhere this year.
Yeah.
It makes it hard looking into 2026 to kind of put together a most anticipated when it's like, I'm just getting whiplash by random movies that I had no expectations for that are still super good. So, honestly, you could watch any of these if you haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
They're all great.
Alrighty. Well, before we move into our worst of the year and best of the year, do you have any other interesting little moments, categories, any things you want to shout out from this year?
I have favorite memories of 2025.
Okay.
I have favorite performances of 2025, as well as favorite scenes of 2025.
All right, rip through them.
So favorite scenes of 2025, I'm going to go through, I have 6 listed, 2 through 6 I'm going to go pretty quick, and then 1 I'll probably spend a little bit more time on. But 6, the split screen Halloween party in Twinless. It's amazingly handled. It's one of my favorite directed sequences I've seen this year. The squeaking leg, and It Was Just an Accident, especially towards the end. I'm going to leave it at that. It's fantastic. The car chase in One Battle After Another, phenomenal. One of the most riveting. It's like you're on a roller coaster in a theater watching that. It's awesome. Like I mentioned, The Ballad of Wallace Island, there's one scene that just consistently makes me cry, and it's the dedication to Marie, who is the late wife of Tim Key's main character, during their kind of solo personal concert they do on the beach right there. It immediately made me cry. And then my second favorite scene of the year is the discussion regarding faith, also Blanc's introduction in Wake of Dead Man. It does things visually in that scene that I've never seen done in film before that just took me away, and also just Blanc and Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig, their chemistry, their back and forth, it completely dissects what faith is and why it's important to some and why some people are immediately turned off by it. So I loved that scene. My favorite scene of the year comes from Life of Chuck. Shouldn't be a surprise, but it's the You Contain Multitude scene. It is with Kate Siegel, who is married to Mike Flanagan, and Benjamin Pajak, and it's just a very touching moment between a very tender-hearted teacher and her student. This movie made me blubber like a child at moments, and in this scene in particular, it hit me hardest. Just every once in a while, you see a movie like this, kind of like Won't You Be My Neighbor, or It's a Wonderful Life, where it just is kind of life-affirming and reminds you how special everything really is and how special people are to you. And it reaffirms just why all of this really matters and how you can carry a piece of everyone with you everywhere you go. So that scene, I remember just rewatching it on YouTube while I was making my list, and I was like, fuck, I couldn't do it. So I love that scene. There's a lot of other scenes that I thought about, but those 6, I think, are the big takeaways for me. Did you have any big scenes from this year?
I'll throw out a couple, yeah. One that's just stuck with me through the year is from F1, and it's the scene where he's flying at the end, where he's just like, he's in fucking flow state at the end, and he's just like gonna win the race, and he's like, the sound cuts out, it's just Brad Pitt in a car. I was like, this is fucking awesome. This movie's great. I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, but F1 is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Watch it from this year.
That was also, a big surprise just how well made that movie was.
Absolutely.
Also, one of the best scores of 2025, I would say, too.
Hans Zimmer fucking killed it in that movie. Another scene that I really love from this year was the For Good song from Wicked for Good. I don't know that we'll talk about that movie all that much more, but I just think that even though that movie had problems, we talked about a lot of the problems, but I think that scene was the epitome of what Wicked is, of Elphaba and Glinda singing to each other. One of my favorite song from all of Wicked is For Good. So I just that was the most touching moment for me this year that I love. The last one that I want to shout out is the music scene from Sinners. I think that is the best scene that I've seen in a movie this year. And when I first watched it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't really get it. And then thinking about it, I was like, That was fucking brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And Ryan Coogler, he absolutely nailed it. We'll talk about that movie more, but just that scene was so spectacular.
I also listened to the music specifically from that scene a lot.
Yeah.
Going back to Wicked, also I think it's the woman in the bubble or the girl in the bubble that Ariana Grande sings. That's one of my favorite. That is my favorite musical sequence from this year, as well as the No Good Deed, that rock ballad that Elphaba gets to have in that movie. Fucking floored me. So Wicked for Good. It's not going to be talked about a lot today, but it was a really good movie for me. I really liked it. As someone who's a big fan of the first one, I still really had a great time with this second one. I want to move on to favorite performances of 2025. There's a lot here, so I'm going to list through a lot of them, and then I'm going to spend a little bit more time on maybe 4 of them. But I think it's Tanya Maria, which you brought up in The Secret Agent. She is one of, just scene stealers whenever she's on screen, and just floored me. I loved her. She was so likable. It just was like, I want to hug her. She's a grandma. She's the bbest. Jared Harris in House of Dynamite. He's not in the movie a lot, but he's sensational. If he got a Best Supporting Actor nominee, I would love that. Mark Hamill in The Life of Chuck. Life of Chuck feels like a movie made in the 80s, better than the way Stranger Things tries to make you feel like it's just jerking off the 80s all the time. It feels like Amblin Entertainment, and I think Mark Hamill in that grandfather role really sells that, and he's so solid in that movie. Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein really surprised me too. It's kind of looks like a pretty easy performance of just not a lot of big shows of emotion except for towards the more climactic moments in the end. But he really sold just this creature that doesn't know better, basically acting like a dog with an abusive owner. It was just he's surprised me with that. And I love him in Saltburn, but this I was like, damn, all right, didn't expect that from you. Like I mentioned, Tim Key and Tom Basden, those are 2 of the co-leads in The Ballad of Wallace Island. Their chemistry and them kind of just grating on each other. Mostly Tim Key grating on Tom Basden in that movie is sensational. Tim Key is maybe, aside from Paddington, he is the most heartwarming character in a movie this year. Dylan O'Brien in Twinless, I already mentioned, he's sensational. Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, both of those dual roles are fantastic. Benicio del Toro and Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another. A few small beers. Great scene as well.
Yeah.
When he's dancing for the it's so good.
Wow.
But they're amazing in that. Aiden Delbus in Begonia, maybe my favorite performance in that movie. Devastating, just that character's arc, where it leads. That scene maybe is also in contention for one of my favorite scenes of 2025, but Aiden Delbus really surprised me in this movie, and he really fucking worked on me. He was great. My 4 biggest performances, which some of them are duos, but Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, you're a lock. Win that award. You deserve the Oscar in my eyes. I hope you win. David Johnson in Long Walk, I think that is I don't think he has a shot at getting a Best Supporting Actor nomination, but I would be so floored or thrilled if he did, just because he was so great in that movie. He carried that movie for me. The duo, which they don't really share a whole lot of scenes, but Austin Abrams and Amy Madigan in Weapons, sensational. Austin Abrams was maybe my favorite performance, but Amy Madigan, if you can stick around towards the awards conversation and maybe get a nominee,
she will be.
That'd be sick. I would love that. That'd do great things for genre and horror films. And then Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor, their chemistry in Wake of Dead Man also stole the show for me. Did you have any big performances that I didn't mention here?
You mentioned a lot of the good ones.
Yeah.
David Johnson would be the one that was maybe of most surprising performances, where I was you were great in Alien Romulus, you were great here. There's going to be more performances I talk about once we get into Best of the Year, and maybe some honorable mentions too.
Okay, and then my favorite movie memories of 2025, I'll say seeing Avatar Fire and Ash with our group of Aiden, Tanner, and then me and you, which we've done for almost all the Marvel movies as well. But
I was going to say the MCU movies this year plus Avatar, so much fun.
It's fun getting that group together, and that's the most consistent way that we keep up to date with each other. So it's just it's a lot of fun seeing everyone buying our tickets for the Odyssey and getting that in the mail. Big, which will pay off mostly in 2026, but just that happening and making that plan, I'm so thrilled and excited for that. Seeing Death of a Unicorn with my wife, weirdly enough, is on my list because in the starting moments, a man behind us shifted and spilled his entire large soda on me and my wife, and I had sticky, crusty hair throughout that entire movie.
You're used to sticky, crusty hair.
I'm trying to say something sweet about seeing a movie with my wife.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, crusty.
Continue.
But we moved just 2 seats down to the left and watched the entire movie, and me and my wife just had we were just dying about it on the way home. So I don't get to see a lot of movies with my wife just because she's very picky and doesn't want to spend a lot of her evenings in a dark room with strangers watching movies, where that is my heaven. That's where I'm going to go every night. My biggest, aside from Final Destination Bloodlines and watching that with you, my biggest movie memory, my favorite one, was watching a Minecraft movie with my oldest brother and my nephew. It's kind of a full circle moment for me as someone who got to grow up seeing countless movies in theaters with my uncle. Now I got to experience a movie through my nephew's eyes while he's just like calling the shots on screen, being like, that guy's a fucking pain in the ass to kill in the game. And I'm like, okay. And getting to experience his enjoyment of that movie alongside him was just far and away one of my favorite movie-going memories I've ever had in my life. So, favorite of 2025, far and away, and one of the best of my life.
That's the specialness of movies. Even if the movie's not incredible, the people you see it with. We say it at the end of every episode. The people you see it with is the most important. I'll just throw out one more. Seeing F1 with our moms. It has become a tradition of the last 3 years. We saw 80 for Brady in 2023. We saw The Fall Guy in 2024. And we saw F1 this year. There's a theme the last couple years of just attractive guys in theaters that our moms want to see. Ryan Gosling.
Project Hail Mary might be an easy one.
Project Hail Mary would be a good one. Yeah, for sure. But just seeing F1 with our moms at one of our favorite kind of childhood theaters.
Oh, yeah.
It's just always a good time. We just have fun and hearing their thoughts, and just our moms are friends too, so it's just a great time and one of my favorite memories of the year for sure.
I also do have hot takes of 2025.
Oh,
I forgot about that. That's the very bottom.
Rip into it, then we'll get into the worst and the best of the year.
Sounds good. So the ending to House of Dynamite is perfect. If you don't agree with that, I think you're just wrong. And like, film is subjective, but I think you're wrong if you don't think the ending to to House of Dynamite is perfect. Mithrigan 2.0 is more enjoyable than Mithrigan. I would much rather rewatch. Yeah, I know there's some of these that Corey's not going to agree with me on. I would much rather rewatch Mithrigan 2.0.
That's going to come up soon here.
Yeah.
That movie's going to come up soon.
I would rather watch that than the first one. I thought it was way more fun. Netflix original films should only be eligible for Emmys and not Oscars. You're making TV movies. I don't care if you get your limited theatrical run. I think that you should be. That is the way to punish you until you have a strict, full theatrical release for your movies. You're only getting Emmys unless you're full theatrical run. Which, that's not even that much of a hot take. It's just me getting pissed off at Netflix, but that is a song sung a lot this year.
Song Sung Blue.
Song Sung Blue.
Yeah.
I almost saw that yesterday, but I decided not. I saw Anaconda and Zootopia 2 instead. Don't tell my wife. I saw it without her. And she would.
Good thing nobody.
No one watches this. Yeah. She doesn't even watch this. Wake Up Dead Man is the best of the Knives Out franchise. I just did a rewatch of Knives Out and Glass Onion. Wake Up Dead Man, far and away, is definitively my favorite of that franchise. I would get if you argue Knives Out. I think most people disagree. Glass Onion, while it is still really good, is probably the weakest of the three. Mm-hmm. Superman was better than any of the Marvel films for 2025. I know you disagree with that just because I know how much you love Fantastic Four: The First Steps. And even Thunderbolts is really great. Captain America: Brave New World.
You like Superman more than Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Whoa!
I love Superman.
And you love Thunderbolts.
I love Thunderbolts, but Superman is my favorite comic book movie, superhero movie of 2025.
Okay.
I've listened to that score ad nauseum, even though it still has issues.
The same.
Yeah, there's still issues there.
Done the same fucking thing.
Avatar films should not be longer than 2 hours and 40 minutes. I feel like that's clear-cut, dry, easy.
Shouldn't be longer than 0 minutes. They shouldn't be made anymore. We should be done.
James Cameron said he was going to put 5 and 6 as books, or 4 and 5 as books if they don't make.
He said he was going to do the press conference. Please, just do the fucking press conference. I don't want more movies. Please.
I think that they can continue, just cap it at 2 hours and 40. Otherwise, they just get to be way too long and monotonous. With Keeper and The Monkey, Oscar Perkins, you need to either take a break from directing or get serious help in the creative department, because you should not be entrusted with these movies by yourself. You don't do anything good with them aside from Longlegs and The Blackcoat's Daughter. And then my last hot take, you might agree with me. I feel like a lot of the fandom around this franchise would probably disagree, but I think Tron Ares is nearly as good as Tron Legacy, and both of those films are better than the original Tron. You agree with them?
I would agree with that. Tron Legacy I like a lot more than Ares, but
I think it's like a half step down. Okay. But I think that they're on the same level for me.
Tron Ares was hated on a lot. I think it's good.
I think it was good. Jared Leto's not you're going to pick him, that's who you want for your leading man, but I'm this franchise is a series of missteps. People get mad at the story. It's the story in all of these movies has never been that great, so just settle down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Tron Ares.
I like the hot takes. I disagree with some. I agree with some. One random thing that just popped into my head. I feel like we're doing a good job of mentioning a lot of the movies from this year, a lot of the big movies. I think one of the most overhated movies of the year is Karate Kid Legends. I like that movie. I think it's pretty good.
I saw that on John's top 10 worst.
It's a lot of people's worst, where they're like, this movie sucks, it's disappointing. I kind of like it.
I still haven't watched it, and I'm still interested in seeing it.
I don't know. I watched the whole franchise, and maybe that helped because I saw a lot of the shit ones. And this one was fun. I liked it.
I will say one that I've even probably been a perpetrator of overhating on. K-pop Demon Hunters is not that bad. It's not great, and I will be excited if it gets best song nominees at the Oscars. I feel like it might still steep into the best animated feature film of the year because it is really beautifully animated, but the story is just so lackluster. It's not the best movie ever. It's not the worst. It's just a decent animated movie with some good, catchy songs.
I'm going to watch it soon before, I think, maybe the Golden Globes. Okay. I didn't want to check it out.
Yeah,
so.
I think I probably overhated on that a little bit this year, and I'm trying to make amends with it a little bit. I feel bad.
All right. Well, hey, 40 minutes into this episode, are you ready for our top best and worst of the year? Here they are. So, all right, let's get into the worst of the year. Let's get into some shit before we get into the good stuff.
Do you want to do 5 and then honorable mention after that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get into the fucking worst of the year. One that you just mentioned, Megan 2.0.
Is that 5?
It's not my least favorite, but my 5th least favorite. So I'm going from least worst to worst.
Yeah.
So Megan 2.0. I like the first movie, and I rewatched the first one before I saw this, and I think it's fun. I think it kind of hits the tone that it is striving for in that movie, where it's like kind of campy. It's this fucking robot doll, but it's like it's kind of fun. I like it. The second one goes in a completely different direction, abandons everything that was good about the first movie and that people liked about it. And it was so bad that they canceled everything else that was going to happen in this franchise. So that should tell you how fucking bad it was. I watched this movie and I just could not believe what I was seeing on screen. It's so bad. The next one is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's just a franchise that I think has been... The first one was okay. The second one, I think, was so messy and is just kind of botched this interesting concept that they've had. And like a couple of interesting visuals with the marionette is not enough to save the movie. The next one is Snow White. Just a disaster from every standpoint, whether you want to look at people's thoughts about Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot and political things and things that they've said, and then everything about the dwarves in this movie, and then like filming the movie without the dwarves, and then people were like, you gotta have the dwarves, and then they put them back in, but they didn't remove the other people that filled in for the dwarves. And they just had all of it in the movie, so it's kind of...
There's 14 characters.
There's a lot of characters, and there's so much of this movie that is kind of the same as the original, but then they divert in weird ways, and it's not good at all. The Toxic Avenger, maybe it was just a product of my week of watching the movies, and I don't even think that this new one is... I'll recognize that it's not the second worst movie of the year, but... For me, watching through the other 4 and then watching this one, this is just not a franchise for me. I don't like it. I don't care for any of the story. I don't like the characters. It's just not on my wavelength.
I think that was your worst week of 2025.
It was bad. I should, and that's why I didn't watch the Anaconda sequels this year due to this. And it was just like it kind of lumped into that. And again, I don't think it's that bad. It's not for me.
Almost had to call a wellness check on you.
Yeah, you should have. But my least favorite movie of 2025.
I don't know where you're going with it because
I like the surprise of we don't know each other. Is The Strangers Chapter 2.
Okay.
We have another one coming out in February or something. They fast tracked the fuck out of it, but it's such a classic example of not understanding what franchise you are in. The title of the movie is The Strangers. They're strangers. You don't know anything about them. We've talked about the first movie. It's not maybe a classic, but I think it's a really solid horror movie. And the best thing about that movie is that these people are doing it because they can. Because these people were home. That's interesting. You don't need to dive into that. Yeah. These movies...
It's scarier.
It's scarier that way just because it's ooh, that's frightening. It's I don't know, you were there, so I did it. I'm killing people because of that. These movies have dived into what the strangers are, their backstory, who they are. That is just such a massive misunderstanding of what this franchise is, and the movies are so boring and they're so bad.
It was Rennie Harlan, right?
Rennie Harlan has had just a fucking hard-on for this, and I will see the third one just to, I need to see how this ends just because of how bad it is. So
the final girl is kind of turncoating and now becoming one of the strangers?
She's becoming one of them.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, those are my least 5 favorite movies of the year.
I will say I skipped 2 of those movies that you mentioned, both Strangers and Snow White, because I figured I probably was doing myself a service, and I'm sorry that you actually sat through those, but I'm happy to know that I'm probably in the right by not going to see them.
As a note, between the both of us, this year, we saw, almost everything, big. If one of us missed something, the other one saw it.
Yeah.
So
what is your final Do you know your count for 2025? I think I hit like 104 this year, which last year was at 72. So I dwarfed my numbers from last year.
Mine is at almost, it's at like 98. I do have a few more to see. It'll fill in, but like 98 right now.
Yeah. So big year for us, and we did a good job at kind of covering each other's tails. It's like, you don't need to see it. I saw it for the both of us.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we probably should have done that with the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
I probably could have just saw that one, and you could have just saved yourself.
Yeah.
Because I didn't mind that movie. It's not good, but it's fine. Whatever. It's the best of the Toxic Avengers movies, if you want to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a rough week for you.
Yeah.
My 5 through 1, 5 being the least worst to 1 being the worst. 5, I had Bone Lake. I heard great things about it. It is so predictable, so unscary, so unthrilling, with cringy dialogue and annoying characters. It's so unsexy. I'm going in here to see tits and ass and someone get stabbed, and I barely saw either of those things. So you failed. It was egregious to sit through some of the worst dialogue I've seen in a movie this year. So me and my wife watched this uncomfortably together. We hated this. Can't stand it, can't recommend it. Him, we already talked about that. That was my number 4. Just all style, zero substance, but that you do have Marlon Wayans trying his best, so it's like, there's some good in here. There's one good note, but everything else was just egregious to sit through. I think Justin Tipping could be a good director. He needs someone to help him with the script, though, because this was nothing. It was so boring, I couldn't wait to leave. Highest to lowest, number 3. A movie that was also my most disappointing. Again, the best thing that come out of this movie, you and I would agree, is that we both went back and watched High and Low, and now that is one of my favorite Akira Kurosawa films. This movie is just misstep after misstep of a once really great, iconic director not knowing what the fuck to do. And just cast...
Back up the trunk from the front to the back.
Yeah, A$AP Rocky? Fine, why not? The guy from the fucking Allstate commercial? Sure, put him in here. Make him act a lot. Make 3 different car insurance jokes with him? What are you doing? This movie is ridiculous. Poorly acted, poorly written. Denzel Washington tries his best, but I hated this movie so much. Number 2, a movie I didn't even finish in theaters. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. I hated this movie for the first half. So much so I didn't stick around for the second half. That should tell you all I feel about I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I can't remember the first half anyways. And then number 1, I'm surprised you put it so low on yours, but Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I think, is the absolute, just an abortion of a movie. Just one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's so dull, lifeless, not creative, not inventive, no scares, bullshit. And I've had people that are fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's on my review on our Instagram be like, well, it's made for the fans. I'm like, you can make a movie for the fans that's also still good. You didn't do really either of those. This movie's ass. It's one of the most dull things I've ever seen. I would rather fucking sit on a Bowie knife than watch this movie again. Yeah, you would like that.
I like that.
Do you have any other honorable mentions from this year that were really weak to you? I did a full 10 list. So I have like The Accountant 2, I think you and I would agree on being one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Afterbirth is not great.
Rebirth.
Afterbirth is not great. The Monkey I hated. Thursday Murder Club is boring, and Presence upsetted me so much. Any other honorable mentions from you?
No, I want to get get into good movies now.
Okay.
I want to. Let's
be positive.
There's a lot of bad movies, which is fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Not fun to see, but fun to talk about.
Do you want to go 10, 10, 9, 9, kind of alternate back and forth?
I'm gonna give some honorable mentions
Okay.
of movies that I love this year that just didn't quite crack my top 10
Let's do that. Let's do honorable mentions, and then maybe you run 10 through 5, and then I'll do 10 through 5.
of our top 10s of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we could go back. You do 5
Love
for
it.
1.
All right. Honorable mentions. The Long Walk, a movie I was, again, could be in the surprising movies of the year, but I just thought that it was such a great, even though I haven't read the book, but just feels like a great adaptation of that source material. You mentioned David Johnson before. Cooper Hoffman's great in this. The whole cast is really good. Mark Hamill in a great supporting role again. I think he's done great work this year. And just a movie that I think sounds really boring, of people walking down a road and talking, but it's really good. Francis Lawrence does a great job with it. It kind of ties into like Hunger Games and what he did well with that into this movie.
Really care about those characters in that movie.
Absolutely, yeah. So I love that one. Another one is Together, which I love this movie so much. I was surprised at how much I liked it. Again, I saw it after you saw it, and you were like, it's good. You liked it. I just thought it played into the themes of like complacency and codependency in a relationship, of how much you are willing to sacrifice of yourself in a relationship and say, like, well, I'm with this person, so I have to kind of lessen these other parts of myself to be with this person. I didn't expect that in this horror movie about two people joining together, but it does fit into that theme of coming together and what the sacrifices you have to make for it. So I really enjoyed it, and there's some shots in this movie that I have thought about so much that are so freaky, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Love the ending.
The ending is great.
Ending.
Also, one of my favorite endings of the year. The next one is Ballad of a Small Player. Maybe one of the most underrated movies of the year.
So forgotten about.
It's so weird because Edward Berger directed this. His last two movies, Conclave, All Quiet on the Western Front, were big Oscar contenders, Oscar winners. And this movie came and went. And now it's on Netflix, and people probably aren't going to talk about it, but I would recommend you to watch it.
In contention for the After the Hunt award as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I just thought Colin Farrell was great in this movie, just this descent into madness of you get so close of winning winning money at a casino, and you can step away and take a victory, but you just keep going and going and going. It's for real, and it's the movie is great. The visuals of this movie, the cinematography is great. The sound is great. The leather gloves, the colors. This movie works so well for me. I really loved it, and I just wish more people had seen it because I think it's great. The next one is Thunderbolts. I love this movie. I think it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it doesn't quite give enough time to some of the other Thunderbolts members, but I think when it really commits, Florence Pugh in some scenes of this movie make me tear up every time I watch it. David Harbour's great in this movie. I like Lewis Pullman a lot in this movie as well. And just the final sequence of just such a different third act for a Marvel movie that I think is so impressive and so good. I really love it. And then the last one, which was so close to being on my top 10, and maybe even could move in someday if I reorder this, but it's Train Dreams. I love this movie. It is such a quiet movie about just a man just thinking about his life. You just see this man's life, this logger in like early 20th century America, and just kind of adapting to the changes that are coming in America. It's one of the most touching movies I've seen. Again, the ending of this movie I really love. It was so close to being on the list. And like I said, I think it could move on there. I've only seen it once, so if I rewatch it, I think it probably will. But right now, it's at my number 11.
Yeah, all these are bangers. And we have some overlap on the honorable mentions. I'll start with Train Dreams. That also was very close to being in my top 10. That movie is just about a quiet life and a man that's just living within his means, doing his thing, and that ending where he flies and you can see it in his eyes of just like, holy shit, like this is what the world can be. And just it's such a good, again, another good life affirming movie, but a great movie about just a quiet life, and it's sensational. On Netflix, check it out. Twinless, I have sung this movie's praises a lot. I feel like in the past weeks, I love it. It is so touching and moving and has great performances and a lot of great humor. And it's really sharply directed, so I would recommend checking that out. Marty Supreme, I'm sure we'll probably talk about it eventually later on, but Marty Supreme is... it's an American classic already. Like, it's crazy. Timothée Chalamet going on a fucking heater of marketing this movie. It was so fun writing the review for this movie. I love this movie. Almost no notes on it. Like, almost perfection. It's hard to say all of that and then for it to not be on my top 10. I was going to say,
yeah, that's crazy.
Because there are other movies that I just connected with more than this, but it's like seamless. There's no issues really that I have with this movie, which is, again, hard to say why it's not in my top 10. Superman, for me. It is my favorite superhero movie of the year. The original Christopher Reeve Superman movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. There's a lot of shared between those two films. I love how comic booky this movie gets. I think David Cornsweet is great. I think Nicholas Hoult as Luthor is great. I'm excited where this franchise is going to go. And I love, typically in Superman movies and in Man of Steel, scenes between Clark and Pa Kent. And that scene that they have where he's just like, I'm proud. Just that, their connection within this film, I wish we had more of. I love it so much. It is, like I said, my favorite comic book movie of the year. I have issues, but I still loved watching this movie. And it was such a great summer blockbuster. And then Hamnet. Hamnet was sensational, has some of the best performances of the year, really tugs on the heartstrings. I can't imagine wanting to rewatch this movie a lot because it is it's like wanting to rewatch The Zone of Interest again. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time, but it's also just a dagger to the heart, and it's just a hard watch through. But Hamnet was sensational. It's my favorite thing I've seen that kind of takes in that Shakespeare myth and makes him more human, I feel like, and down to earth. And yeah, I can't sing Jessie Buckley's praises enough. She's sensational in this. So those are my 5 honorable mentions of 2025.
All right, 54 minutes in.
I knew this would take at least an hour.
Yeah. We said we're going to keep it to 45 minutes. It's once we get going, it's fun. It's fun wrapping up the year. Though. It's a good time. Okay, we're gonna get into our 10 best of the year. Like you said, I'll go through my 10 through 5, and then you'll go through yours, and then 5 through 1. Blah blah blah. My number 10 of the year. You have mentioned it a couple of times. Again, one of my biggest discoveries of the year was The Ballad of Wallace Island. I absolutely love this movie.
I'm so happy that made your top 10.
You recommended this movie to me, and like I had been curious about watching it, but then you saw it and you were like, "It's really good. You should watch it." And it was on Peacock. I think it still is on Peacock, so you should watch it.
That's my biggest win of this year.
Yeah, I mean, we always recommend stuff to each other, but like I always try and watch the things that you say you should watch this, and this was one that I'm happy I did because you mentioned Tim Key, Tom Bazin, Carey Mulligan in this movie. That trio. The emotion behind that of Tim Key and the backstory of his wife and the music in this movie is so beautiful. And it's mixed with some great humor. One of my favorite jokes from this year is Tim Key, who kind of lives on this island by himself. He doesn't really have anybody else there. He's kind of this lonely guy. He's a very happy guy.
He's so funny.
He's so funny, but he's just like, he's a lonely guy. You kind of feel bad for him. And him and Tom Bazin are playing tennis. And Tim Key can serve really well. But Tom Bazin returns a serve, and Tim Key cannot hit it. And he's like, I know how to serve because nobody else is here. I've never had anybody return a ball to me. That is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in a movie. And it just combines so many things so well, where I just like, maybe the most heartfelt, like, just heartwarming movie I saw this year, where I'm like, oh, this is what movies are. This is why I love movies so much. So that's on my number 10. Number 9, we've mentioned as well, Wake Up Dead Man, the third Knives Out movie. This is still my second favorite of the Knives Out movies. I prefer the first one just a little bit more. It has, like, I've thought about this movie a lot in the week since I've seen it. I think it has the fun whodunit, the fun cast of characters, but it also has that the examination of faith, and I think it's a really like mature examination of faith and religion, where Josh O'Connor is so gung-ho about being, this guy that's more of this and less of this. And that's such a like great visual, just like a great thing that whether it's Rian Johnson or whoever created that, was just like I love that. But then Daniel Craig coming in as Benoit Blanc and being somebody that is so against faith, and he's like, there's nothing I would rather not do than be here in the church. And even by the end of the movie, he's still kind of there, but throughout the movie, he recognizes the impact that faith can have on people and the power that can have, even if he doesn't believe in that himself. I think it's so great. The phone conversation in this movie between Josh O'Connor and the woman at the business that he's talking to is one of my favorite scenes from the year. So really, really great whodunit, along with some deeper elements to it. My number 8 is It Was Just an Accident. This is such a great movie, and why I love international cinema. This is the movies that I'm like, this doesn't feel like an American movie, and it's because of the pacing and because of just the characters, how they're introduced, their different ideologies of how they want to handle the situation. The ending, you mentioned the squeaky leg. The best ending, one of the best endings of the year, I'll say.
We had some really great endings.
Some great endings this year. So that movie was just a standout, and I know a lot of people probably have not seen that movie, and very happy that we both have been able to see it. So I would recommend that for sure. Next on my list is Begonia. I love this. It was on my most anticipated movies of the year, and I absolutely love it. We have this beautiful steelbook. I don't know if the mic is cutting it off or not, but it's Mason's steelbook that he got.
It has my favorite poster of the movie.
That's a great poster.
It's upside down.
This movie is... Oh, fuck, I put it upside down.
That's fine.
It's been upside down the whole time.
That's okay.
It kind of works, I guess. But this movie, I just thought... it was shot in VistaVision, which looks beautiful. And Yorgos Lanthimos teamed up with Emma Stone is just a match made in heaven for the past few years. And Stavros and Jesse Plemons, Aiden Delbus, you mentioned him. It combines so much great humor, moments that I was just dying laughing at, especially in the third act with Emma Stone pretending like she's doing something so funny. But it just dives into so many great themes, and I love the feel of that movie. And then my number 6 is A House of Dynamite. It's been a very divisive movie. A lot of people really don't like both the ending to this movie and the way that it's structured. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that it has the best first act of a movie this year, but then the rest of it sucks. I disagree with that. I think I felt that initially in theaters. I was like, I don't know if I love the way this is going, but then as it kept going on, I really liked it. And I think it's a great, another great war political thriller from Catherine Bigelow. She has it on lockdown. I love the performances. I love the ending. I think it's great. So it had to make it into my top 10. So it's at my number 6.
Yeah, you already listed a couple within your 10 through 6 that I don't have on mine that I also missed on my honorable mentions, but awesome list so far from you. Jumping into my number 10, this was a movie that was originally pretty high, and I went through a little bit of a reshuffle in the past couple of weeks of just kind of where movies have kind of resonated with me. Sinners is my number 10 favorite film of the year. It is some of the best performances, some of the best horror of the year, and also, you mentioned it earlier on, that amazing music sequence. The music in this movie is a character, and it's maybe the best character aside from Smoke and Stack, and also you got Haley Steinfeld being so awesome, so hot. Me and my wife constantly quote "Is that you, Little Mary?" Cornbread, it's me. It's like the one white woman you've ever met in your life. Yes, it's me, Little Mary. Let me into the fucking party. But I love this movie. It's funny. It's beautiful to watch. And I think there are some amazing performances within it. And it's very rewatchable. My number 9 is Weapons, my favorite, if you want to say my favorite horror film of the year. Some of the best performances, some of the sharpest writing, some weird humor, and then Amy Madigan's just searing weird performances on Gladys. Austin Abrams is also sensational. I already mentioned that earlier too, but I really am on board for whatever Zach Cregger is making between this and Barbarian. I very much love this movie. I don't know which one I like more between this and Barbarian. I think I like Weapons a little bit more, if you had to ask me right now. And yeah, I will never get the imagery of 217 and all those kids running with their arms stretched out. It is a terrifying, I always gripe on horror movies not being scary. That is something that scares me. That image alone. So I loved Weapons. It's great. That's my number 9 slot. Number 8, another movie that could have been on my biggest surprises of the year. It was a movie that I just randomly heard about and then went to the Main Cinema, which I want to champion the Main Cinema for being the best movie theater maybe in Minnesota, because I've gotten so many of these great viewing experiences from movies I wouldn't have seen elsewhere. But EFUS is my number 8. A movie about just guys in their slow pitch baseball league that are having one final championship game to commemorate their dying field that's going to get turned into a middle school. And it's just people playing a sport for the love of the sport and for the love of the camaraderie that comes with it. And we also play beer league softball, so there's some stuff that I can kind of link to. And just the conversation between these guys is so relatable and so authentic, just calling each other dipshits, idiots, any other slur, and just them just drinking beer, playing until the lights go down, till the sun goes down, and then having to direct all their car lights onto the field so they can finish their game that they don't want to end. It's very touching. It's one of my favorite hangout movies I've seen in a while too. So EFUS, it's underseen. Definitely check it out. I don't know where you're going to find it. I thankfully have a good Blu-ray of it, so I'm going to watch that a lot in the coming years. EFUS is my number 8. Number 7, already talked about it a little bit. One battle after another. Leo just fucking stomping it in this movie. Him and Benicio del Toro, awesome chemistry, but also there's not a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies. I almost said Paul W.S. Anderson. That's a whole different conversation. There's not a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies that really work for me. There's There Will Be Blood, there's Punch Drunk Love, there's Boogie Nights, but then past that, Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, there's stuff that just kind of wavers for me. This is one of the only times I've seen a Paul Thomas Anderson movie where I the entire time was I love this. I knew instinctively right away, this is a movie for me. And I think the chaoticness of the story, of these characters, Leo just trying to find his daughter, Sean Penn being disgusting. You like black women? I love it. The way he puts the entire comb in his mouth is hilarious. They're just him getting hard at the beginning of the movie. Wasn't expecting that. This movie has so many great beats of humor, of action, of drama, and thrilling suspense, and that amazing car chase. Just, again, another movie where I could basically say no notes to. Fantastic. And then number 6 for me, you already talked about it on your top 10, Wake Up Dead Man. I love it. It is maybe one of my favorite murder mysteries, and I think this is the best film to fully realize Benoit Blanc, as well as giving us a really good, heavy-weighted protagonist to coincide as a co-lead with him, and that with Josh O'Connor as, is it Judd or Chud?
Judd, I think. Father Judd,
Judd. And that conversation of faith and what that means to people as someone who kind of has that inner monologue about, what do I believe? Do I believe that? Do I believe that today? Do I not believe that today? Religion and faith is kind of a wavering thing, at least for me and my family growing up, and seeing it in this movie of two people go toe to toe in that, especially that introduction scene with Benoit Blanc, and that so perfectly encapsulates how I view Faith, is just that inner turmoil between those two characters. So a lot of great scenes. It is one of my favorite Rian Johnson movies I've ever seen, aside from Looper, and toss it between that and The Last Jedi, maybe, which is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Again, we keep teasing that. We'll talk about it eventually.
We'll talk about it.
Deep dive. But yeah, my 10 through 6, again, 10 Sinners, 9 Weapons, 8 Ephus, 7 One Battle After Another, and then 6 Wake Up Dead Man.
Alrighty, let's get into the top 5 of the year. This is the interesting part. You mentioned your favorite superhero movie of the year was Superman. Mine was Fantastic Four: First Steps. That's at my number 5. This movie is maybe the movie that made me the happiest this year. Just in the theater watching it, like, this is exactly what I wanted from this movie, and I got it, and the MCU has momentum between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four: First Steps. I love the retro 60s vibe, the retro futuristic vibe of this movie. I think that Vanessa Kirby is a standout as Sue Storm in this movie. She has so many great pieces of dialogue in this movie that are just stuck in my mind. I think that the rest of the cast fills it out so nicely. We talked about Julia Garner. We see Galactus in his full form, not a cloud. We see, and I think that's part of this movie too, is like a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Like, we finally got it. Like, we have nostalgia. We have guilty pleasure of the 2005 and Silver Surfer, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like,
Force Stick.
They're, we did a whole thing. Watch that video.
Oh, fucking love it.
And the 90s Fantastic Four. We talked about all the history of the Fantastic Four in a whole video. But this movie was like, this is the Fantastic Four that I've wanted for so long, and we finally got it. And I absolutely love this movie. It made me so happy. Paul Walter Hauser, spread it on. Come on,
put it on thick.
Put it on thick. There's so many things that it is fantastic. I love this movie so much. It really made me the happiest. It sucks that it kind of wasn't as big of a box office performer or maybe like critical performer as I hoped it would be, but it just made me so happy this year. Probably the movie made me the happiest. My number 4 is Warfare. This movie hit me like a fucking truck. This is, the opening scene in this movie is pretty fun, and then it just fucking goes, and then it goes from there. And I think this movie works brilliantly from Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza, who is a veteran himself. And interestingly enough, I think whether you're on the side that war is bad or war is necessary, I think it hits that. I think that whether you think that, it's like The Boys, it's the camaraderie, it's like, we need to do this. We may not know the specifics of everything we're doing, but we need to do that. Or if you watch this movie and you say, they don't know what they're doing, and they're killing people, and they don't know what they're doing. I think it works in both ways. Yeah. I think it's sort of like Civil War in that way. We talked about last year. That's one of our favorite movies of kind of the viewpoint. And I think Alex Garland has really locked in on that, of not picking a side and presenting both sides. But the performance, one of my biggest frustrations is that the Oscar shortlist came out, and this movie was not on the shortlist for Best Sound. The sound of this movie is so crucial, and it's just, it attacks you in this movie with the grenades going off, the gunfire, the silence in the movie. It's so good. I love Warfare. It's absolutely one of the best movies of the year. My number 3 and 2 are some movies you've talked about, but 3 is One Battle After Another. This is a movie that I think, I much like you, Paul Thomas Anderson, I'm very hit or miss on. There Will Be Blood, I love Boogie Nights. A lot of the other movies, I'm not, like, I respect them, I don't love them. This movie for me feels like the kind of most mainstream that a lot of people really connected to. Leo is fantastic, the supporting performances are great. I didn't think that Sean Penn saying the phrase, "I've been raped in reverse," would be something that I've ever heard in a movie. But
and then everyone's staring blankly at him like,
what is that?
What is that?
What do you mean raped in reverse? That is some of the best writing I've ever heard in a movie. It is phenomenal. I absolutely love this movie. I think you mentioned the car chase earlier. Yeah. It's such a great scene. Chase Infinity in this movie I think is really strong. Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor. It hit on every single level that I wanted. It was such a fun movie to watch. It hits the themes that it needs to. I really loved it. My number 2 is Sinners.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, this movie was down a little bit lower in my rankings, and then after the year of thinking about it, there's just not a lot of movies I've thought about more than Sinners. And you mentioned the music in this movie. It's so impactful. I think Michael B. Jordan is phenomenal. The supporting performances, Delroy Lindo is great in this movie as well. Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell, Miles Caton. Just like the cast is so great.
Miles Caton especially.
The music scene we've talked about already is great. So Sinners works on whether you're looking for kind of a quasi-horror movie, whether you're looking for a drama, whether you're looking for just period piece. It works on every aspect, and I think Ryan Coogler is one of the best directors working today. Maybe his best movie? I could argue that.
Yeah.
I could argue that. I love Creed.
Fruitvale Station?
Yeah, he's had a lot of great stuff, but I could argue that.
Do you want to save your number one? And then I do 5 through 2. And then
sure, go for it. Go for your 5 through 2. Yeah.
5 for me was one that I saw earlier in the year, is in March, and I thought for a long time it was my favorite movie of the year for a while, and then I just gradually, as the year went on, saw better movies. But this one stuck around, and I'm so happy it did. But 5 is Black Bag. I think one of the most tightly directed thrillers, again from Steven Soderbergh. This is the one movie of his I really liked this year, whereas Presence I didn't really care for. But I think that this film is so pinpoint accurate, perfect. Like, everything is dialed in. It feels like David Fincher and Kubrick's love child. Like, I love this. The lighting, the coloring, the performances, Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, just powerhouses all around. Some great, it's not like a in-your-face spy espionage. Like, it's a very, like, cat and mouse game, but it really is sneaky with how it tells it to you. And there's a lot of good kind of paranoia that surrounds this main couple. I really love this movie. It's easily one of my favorites of this year, and I'm going to watch a lot in years to come. Number 4, similar to you, is Warfare. I haven't sweat that much in a movie in my entire life. My chest was bouncing in that movie. That, and not to harp on the same thing that you harped on, but it not getting nominated for Best Sound or being on that short list is ridiculous. That was one of the most deafening theatrical experiences I've ever had. And it was so, like, I've never wanted to be in the military, and this movie further proves to me, yeah, I'm not cut out for it. And this is a movie that I get to watch other characters fucking deal with the trauma and the horrible shit that's going on. I don't need to be a part of that. This gave me the closest experience I think I could ever anticipate having to being in the middle of a war. And I don't need it. This movie's fantastic. Again, Alex Garland just doing what he does best, giving us grisly, almost objective viewpoints to things you already kind of talked about, where, yeah, you can just kind of watch this. It's just going to lay out the facts as they are. This is what's happening. Doesn't matter who's doing this, what the purpose is. We don't really know. Doesn't really change anything. This is just a bottled up zone of trauma and anger and frustration and just injuries all around. Like, no one's having a good time, but being able to see that camaraderie of those soldiers working together is one of the only endearing upsides to this movie, because it is a lot of, all right, run and gun, this is bad, it's getting hairy. So this movie is one of the most intense things I saw this year, and I loved it. Can't say I'm going to watch it a whole lot, just because I don't know if I can put myself through that. Number 3 is Begonia. I loved this movie. It was a movie that wasn't on my top 10 most anticipated, and then I thought you were kind of crazy to put it at your number 6 for 2025 for your most anticipated. I was like, we don't even know much about the movie. We don't even have a poster. Like, it's just Yorgos Lanthimos and Emma Stone, which I like that pairing a lot, and I fucking was blown away by this movie. One, it looks visually stunning. It's awesome. It's perfectly acted. Aidan Delvis stole the show for me. Great humor with also pairing just grisly, horrible images and depressing images that I wasn't hoping to see. That is the Yorgos Lanthimos trademark. That intersection point of, we're going to make you laugh, and then we're going to upset the fuck out of you, and we're going to show you some real wild shit. I have so much respect for his filmography, and I love this movie. It's one of my favorites of his, behind Poor Things and Killing of a Sacred Deer. I love Begonia so much, and I'm really pleasantly surprised by how well this movie worked for me. My number 2, you already mentioned it. It was just an accident. I think one of the best acted, best directed, best paced movies. There's some good humor, and it's just a movie that has long takes. And it's not showy with the fact that it has long takes. It's not something that you're necessarily going to get keyed into right away, but it's just actors holding a scene down with lengthy blurbs of dialogue and trying to get points across, trying to figure out, is this person the person we think he is? Because if he is a danger to us all, and we need to kill him. But also, we don't know for sure. I think that there are so many great aspects of this movie, with the lighting, with the dialogue, this weird kind of ensemble that we just keep adding to as the movie goes. I really appreciate it, and I like this kind of found family that bonds on this one thing, this one traumatic past event that they can all relate to, and they're like, yep, that gives us enough reason to question whether this person needs to go down or not. And I loved it. It came out of nowhere for me, and I absolutely just was floored by it. I know not a lot of people are going to see it, but I hope it stays in that conversation for Best Picture for the Oscars. I think it definitely deserves a spot in that top 10 of the year for the Best Picture nominees, and I'm sure it will stick around for foreign language film as well, but I loved it. It is just chef's kiss, like no notes. And I had a couple of movies from this year that I got to say that too, so a really decent year for 2025.
Alrighty. Here we are, our top favorite movies of the year. I think I mentioned it last week, and I think
we both mentioned
we
ours.
both have mentioned ours already, so it's not that big of a surprise. But for me, my favorite movie of the year was Marty Supreme. This movie, as soon as I saw it, I knew immediately, like, that's it. That's the movie I've been waiting for this year that I unabashedly love. Like, everything worked for me. Timothée Chalamet's performance is so confident. He's arrogant, he's unlikable, but you're rooting for him. You want to see him do well, but then he says shit that you're like, fuck, you probably shouldn't say that, but that's funny as hell. That's a lot. This is his most confident and I think his best performance that he's ever given. I think the supporting cast with Kevin O'Leary, Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa A'zion, amongst many others, is phenomenal. The good time and uncut gems energy in this movie with chaotic random shit happening as somebody's trying to achieve something where they take one step forward and two steps back is incredible. I love the pursuit of greatness of somebody trying to be the best at what they're trying to do. It is so inspiring in a way, even if you are watching it through a pretty unlikable character at a lot of times. It works for me really well. The score by Daniel Lopatin is great. The cinematography by Darius Kanji is masterful. I think it's fucking phenomenal. You mentioned that this feels like a classic already. Yeah. Like, this is a movie that is going to be of this decade. Like, that's a movie of the 2020s. Mm-hmm. Marty Supreme, 100%. This movie worked for me on every level. I love watching it, and I laughed. I think it balances tone, the drama, the heartfelt, the humor, the pursuit of greatness, and it's a movie I cannot wait to rewatch. So therefore, it's my favorite movie of 2025.
That, and it balances so many subplots that somewhat could seem as, like, what are we doing here? Like, pointless, but they all lead to the legacy of Marty Mauser and Marty Supreme. So I was surprised when you said it was your favorite a while ago before I went to see it, and you're like, I'm not going to tell you anything, just go see it. And then coming out of it, I was like, okay, he probably really liked it, and I was really happy to hear that it's your favorite movie of the year. I feel like the way people talked about One Battle After Another this, like, over the summer while it was coming out over in August, and the way it's been received, I feel like Marty Supreme and One Battle After Another have been big champions of film this year. So I'm happy for both because I love both movies. No notes for basically both of them, and you're really making it harder to argue why Marty Supreme shouldn't be on my top 10 as well. My number one, which is no surprise to most of you listening or watching, is Life of Chuck. I love that movie. It is a toss-up between this and The Shining for my favorite Stephen King adaptation. I fucking love this movie. I like it more than Shawshank. That's basically what I'm saying. Oh, I love this movie. It's a movie that made it, again, it's a life-affirming piece. It made me happy. It made me realize, like, things that where I'm at in my life and what I value, and it is really self-reflective. It is augmented or sectioned out into 3 chunks. We get 3 different kind of distinct moments of Chuck's story. And that first chunk, where he's not really a big character of it, where it's all taking place within Chuck's head, we don't know about that until the second part when Kate Siegel sits him down and is like, you contain multitudes. You contain a whole world inside you. That first part terrified me. When the stars start vanishing and Chiwetel Ejiofor and Karen Gillan are sitting down just trying to talk about the end of the world, or at least the world they know, which is just Chuck's mind, and then you get into that second part and you get that conversation between Kate Siegel and Chuck of you contain multitudes. Like, you have a full life. Actually, that might be the third part, but doesn't matter. I love this movie. I can't wait to rewatch it many a times. I think it is one of the most, like, perfectly toned, perfectly paced things I saw this year. I was really surprised that the amount of depth of emotion Mike Flanagan was able to pack into this, because I know him as the horror guy, and I like all of his horror, but I was like, damn, I didn't expect this from you. So Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's great. The entire cast is great. Nick Offerman, I love as the voiceover, as the narrator of this. I like no notes for this movie. I've said that about a couple on this list, but this one especially. This one just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, fuck, that's not going to get beat the rest of this year. This is my favorite film of 2025. So, yeah.
Well, there we go.
Big. I think we had a really great year, actually. Like, I feel like there are some years we get to the end of, and it's just like, well, we had like 2 or 3 good movies. I think we had like probably like 10 great movies, and then there's a lot of movies I really liked, and then aside from my top 10, not a lot of movies I really disliked a whole lot.
I think it's been, like you said, like my top 10 I really liked in some of those honorable mentions. I don't know if it's like a super deep bench this year.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of, like a few really strong movies, and then a lot that I'm like, they're good. Okay. I like them, and that's like the majority of my ranking this year of like 50 movies where I'm like, genuinely,
just the middle chunk
where I'm just like, yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's good, and that's, not a bad year, but I'm happy for everything we saw. I mean, there's still a few movies. No Other Choice, Is This Thing On, Dead Man's Wire, Testament of Anne Lee, like a few things that we have not seen yet that absolutely could sneak into this that we will probably watch in the coming weeks as they expand more.
Yeah. So these are our top 10s as of now, with that asterisk, because No Other Choice is a movie I'm so excited for, but like I'm also, hot take, stop. If you don't come out in full release in 2025, I don't think you should count as a 2025 release. I think you're, boom, 2026, that sucks. Like, I'm tired of all these limited release ones that just like peak in December and they're like, hey, we're here, and then January we get them. It's like, no, just give me the fucking movie so I can wrap up the year. No Other Choices on that list of like, I need to see that, as well as The Testament of Anne Lee. I can't wait for both of those movies, and I'm like, there's, I think, outside shots that those both would maybe get in my honorable mentions or my top 10 for 2025. Yeah. So, with an asterisk, these are our 10 for now.
Yeah, so, been a fun year, been a fun season 2 of Slate Night, going through these movies, a full year of Slate Night now. So it's been a great time. We've had a lot of fun talking about movies, interacting with people on social media and comments and all that kind of stuff.
Josh Rubin, the director of Hard Eyes, being able to interact with him. That was maybe that was another favorite movie memory I had from this year, was him DMing me. And I was like, holy fuck, no way.
That's cool. So we hope to grow this a bit more. We hope to maybe change up a few things and to do... to break up videos a bit more and do individual reviews of things and rankings and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking at ways to expand our reach, and hopefully you guys enjoy listening. We really do appreciate another year of Slate Night. Can't tell you how much that we love it. We are just doing this because we like it. And even the 15 or 20 viewers that we have on a videos, it means a lot to us. We really do appreciate that. So that is it for Season 2 of Slate Night. That's it for 2025. I'm getting into 2026. We'll do our top 10 most anticipated for the year, regular videos, all that kind of stuff. So really excited for that. Thank you for sitting down with us for another video as I finished off this old-fashioned. Didn't really plan on that, but, channeling my Julia Garner for the year in weapons. So
good.
there it is. But yeah, for Mason and I, it's Slate Night. That's a wrap.